This is Harriet Tubman, and Harriet Tubman had a problem. Now, her problem was a pretty big one. She was born enslaved. But her problem wasn't as big as his problem. This is Edward Brodus. Well, this is not Edward Brodus. This is Joe Alwyn, but he plays a character based on Edward Brodus in the movie. So, for this point, we're going to use him. Now, Edward's problem is that he was effing around and about to find out what happens when you enslave someone who's one of God's favorites. And let me tell you, this woman is absolutely one of God's favorites. See, even though Harriet Tubman was born enslaved, she knew this was not the life for her. She knew she was meant for bigger and better things. Now, Harriet Tubman was a woman of God, and she would often pray to be made free. She always said, I have a right to two things, either death or liberty, and if I cannot have one, I will have the other. But the gag is, baby, she wasn't talking about her own death, and we're going to get into that real soon. Now, there's a thing called manumission. Manumission is when a slave owner frees their enslaved people. This is often based on them being a certain age, by the time they're 45 or 50, or in the event of their passing. And Harriet Tubman was promised manumission when Edward Brodus' father passed away, but Edward Brodus did not want to comply, and this was very common. So Harriet came up and was like, hey, I'm supposed to be free. We had this conversation. Your dad had a whole thing. What's good? And Brodus was like, yeah, about that. Nah. Harriet said, bet. So Harriet started praying every single night, every single hour, saying, God, please change his heart. Please change his heart. Please change his heart. But I guess God was out of office because the prayer was just not being answered. And then Harriet said, okay, maybe that's not your will. If you won't change his heart, stop it. If you're not going to change his heart, just stop it from beating. And God said, I fucks with that. The next day, Edward Brodus breathed his last breath. And then Harriet Tubman and her brother said, we are going to make a run for it. Now, they were on the run for a couple of days, and her brothers got scared, and they said, we're going to go back. We're going to go back. And Harriet's like, nah, I'm not about that. They said, no, we going back. So they all went back together, and because there was so much confusion on the plantation, they didn't even notice that 3 enslaved people had actually gotten away for a few days. That's when Harriet said, baby, when I run again, ain't nobody about to slow me down. So Harriet Tubman made a run for it by herself, and she made it all the way to freedom. Now, this is not the end of her story. This is just the beginning. She went on to do so many remarkable, amazing things. And let me know if you want me to come back and tell some more stories. In the meantime, I wrote a book. It's called Harriet Tubman Live in Concert.